Hello, film freaks, and welcome to another edition of the KFS Film Session. DJ Zullo here, one day after the Knicks bludgeoned the Miami Heat 116 to 95. We will focus on the third quarter in which the Knicks outscored the Heat 41 to 15. Utter domination on both sides of the ball. Knicks sweep the season series from the Miami Heat, which is always a good thing on the Knicks side. And the third quarter of this game really represented a culmination of what this team has been trying to build in the world without Jalen Brunson. Both sides of the floor, they were in sync. They were locked in. There was a lot of Josh Hart, a lot of Mikal Bridges, a lot of Deuce McBride, especially on the defensive end. OG Anunoby getting involved. Mitchell Robinson, when he checked in, kept the momentum going. So a huge win for the Knicks. Getting back home after a long road trip, getting in the win column. And in that third quarter, I thought that was everything we hope this team can be in the post Jalen Brunson era as we wait for him to mend and get back from his ankle injury. But the Knicks are going to have to start building up some of these wins and maybe start to find some things that they can add into the mix when Jalen Brunson is back healthy to make this team make their ceiling that much higher. So let's get right into it. Right off the bat in the third quarter, Knicks' first possession. This is after a Duncan Robinson three-pointer. So the Knicks are down 5 at this point. They're going to start with the horn set, and the Knicks don't run this a ton, definitely not as much as they did last season, but it's the two screeners here at the top. The point guard or the ball handler has the option of going in either direction. You could do many things off this, and what the Knicks are going to do is they're going to enter it to Towns, and then we're going to get a flare screen from Josh Hart for McBride. So there's the entry. Now you get the flare screen for Deuce to come off into space here. You can see Towns looking in that direction. So if Hart gets a better screen, this is an opportunity to maybe generate an open three-point shot. With that play not being there, Towns is going to his second option here, which is a toss back to Hart. And now the Knicks get into a little Miami action, which is a DHO into a ball screen. So similar to like a Zoom or Chicago, but this time the DHO is the first trigger, and that goes right into a ball screen with Anunoby and Towns. Now, good job by Towns here because Jaquez is trying to shoot the under, get underneath the screen and come out on the other side. But Towns does a good job of just making sure that he is pinning him in, basically. So Towns adjusting the screen based on the coverage of the on-ball defender. And then at that point, Jaquez sort of has a miscommunication, thinks Adebayo is going to switch this. He's late getting out, and Anunoby gets a wide open three from the right slot. Good start from the Knicks. Again, Miami action, DHO into the ball screen. There's the Towns screen adjustment here. Border on illegal, but Knicks, typically this is not going to be called an offensive foul. And then the miscommunication allows Anunoby to measure it and stick the wide open three. Now on the defensive end, loved how the Knicks were getting into the ball. Aggressive coverage here. Towns guarding Highsmith because Anunoby had at least in the second half, because it didn't start that way, but Anunoby has the Bam matchup. So that's going to require Towns to be a little more nimble out on the perimeter. Reject by Hero, and this is a really good contest by McBride. It's tough when you're a guard because you're trying to force them into the screen. So as Hero rejects it, he has an opportunity here to get into a pull-up. I like the recovery by McBride. Left-hand contest right at the release point. Josh Hart rebound. Now we're going back on offense. Early post up by Anunoby. So he's already at this point. Anunoby's got his sight sets on Duncan Robinson. So he actually picks up his speed because with the Knicks, with a 5-out look here, because Adebayo is going to have to take Towns as the trail man. So as Anunoby sprints to the post, here's your 5-out look. So with Towns out on the perimeter with Adebayo, Anunoby knows he can get an early steal, duck in, and have an opportunity here to have a good shot at the basket. The Heat are aware of this. They don't like the matchup, so Highsmith is going to immediately double this, and that is going to lead directly to this McBride open three. So that's a tough double team if you're the Heat, because you're doubling one pass away off the Knicks. I wouldn't say arguably, at least for the players on the floor in terms of the guards, the best shooter on the floor. And it's an easy open three from the left corner for McBride. All started because Anunoby read the chance there for an early post up on Duncan Robinson. Good job by Hart to find him, and the Knicks get a great look out of it. Empty side ball screen with Bridges and Towns. Love the patient dribble right there. So Bridges showing a little more versatility as a pick and roll ball handler. That little reverse step, negative step, that's just going to freeze Jaquez and almost give him the idea that pass is going to McBride here. Let's rewind that a bit. You can see it in real time as Bridges comes off the screen. That patient dribble right there gets Jaquez the bite. Now Bridges has removed any of the nail help, can get into his short mid-range area, which he is so lethal at, and gets a little turnaround, which I think was his first bucket since the first quarter. But it's a patient dribble right around the left elbow right there. Gets Jaquez the bite, and then gets into his sweet spot. Good job by Bridges using the patient dribble to get himself some more space. Now Josh Hart using the left arm bar, getting into the ball of Jaquez, forcing the turnover there with ball pressure. So as Hart comes off the screen, he's fighting over the top. Highsmith really isn't able to screen him because Hart gets right through it. And then Hart is able to maintain contact with that left arm, pushing Jaquez, forcing him into his weak hand, loses the ball, and then there's Bridges there to clean up the mess and then get a nice Euro finish with the left hand. Bridges finishing this year has been phenomenal, upwards of like in the high 70s in terms of finishing at the rim inside the restricted area. Again, Hart into the ball, not allowing an advantage, and then Anunoby comes over to help. I'm not sure who ends up getting the block. It could have been Hart, could have been Anunoby, but you love the ability here by Anunoby to provide that rim protection. If you're going to be guard, you're putting Anunoby on Bam. Typically, if you're doing that as a team, you're going to lose something in terms of the rim protection. The Knicks are not losing much at all when Anunoby is the one protecting the basket. But the key here, though, beyond Anunoby being in that help as a last line defender, it's Josh Hart making Jaquez reverse course. So this is not a straight line drive. So as he's dribbling with the left hand, Hart cuts him off, and it's forcing the counter back to his right, and that slows down his momentum to the basket. Now Anunoby can time it. Now Hart can get a great contest, and the Knicks get the block. Excellent job. Now Hart pushing in transition. Towns, great job stopping and not either traveling or drawing a charge, finds Bridges in the corner. Now the Knicks are playing into their flow offense here. Now Bridges does a really nice job here of slipping this screen. So this is an inverted screen. So Bridges is setting this for Adebayo. Hero with his positioning here as he's opening up, he's going to show on this. So if Towns accepts the screen and comes off here, Hero's got to come over and at least slow Towns down enough for Bam to recover. Bridges reads this, and knowing that for at least a moment, two are going to be at the basketball, he's going to slip out. And because Bam is the one guarding the ball, no rim protector, and it's a layup. So again, Hero in position to show. Bridges slips because there's no reason to set that screen when you've already generated two to the basketball. So the advantage has already been created. Bridges can now slip out into all that open space and a nice finish. Bridges continues to show high IQ in terms of his off-ball movement, which for me at least has been the biggest positive surprise of his stint here with the Knicks, his ability to play without the ball, continuing movement and motion. All right, so we're back here on the defensive end. McBride fighting through this screen, this illegal screen. Basically, it's a little like almost middle pin in. McBride gets through it, forces Hero to now curl this. Instead of an open shot, he's curling it. And now you can have Anunoby and Towns converge because McBride did all the work to get Hero to curl this instead of having an open 3-point shot. The ball has to come back out to the perimeter. Now the Heat are going to run as their plan B. Chicago action pinned down into a DHO with Duncan Robinson. But look at how the Knicks blow this action up. Get 2 to the ball, but this is an aggressive trap here with Anunoby basically jumping out to it. Felt like this was an ad lib by Anunoby just to read this with the shot clock under 10, knowing that Robinson is not a high-level ball handler or passer, so they can really get into it, and it forces the turnover. So let's rewind that. You can see the full possession here because a lot of good stuff occurring. Hart over the screen. Now here's the McBride start to this aggressively into Hero. I mean, look at the contact here. There is no room for Hero to get any room to have an open look for 3. So this is McBride forcing Hero into this curl. Towns is in perfect position to accept that. Hero has to get rid of that ball out to Adebayo. Now you run into your zoom action, which the Knicks blow up and you get the turnover. Thought Deuce had another phenomenal game on defense. Then let me just rewind that again because you see Towns, again, high-level offensive player, right? Look how quick he's trying to get the ball and get into offense. Gets the ball from the referee and immediately look it up to see what he can gather on the offensive end. Cameras almost miss it, but the pass is already to Bridges, who steps into a semi-transition in 3. Bridges has been a very lethal shooter with momentum in these transition 3-point opportunities around 40-50%, somewhere in that range, like a high efficient 3-point shooter when he has momentum going towards the basket, because it just takes a little bit of the pressure off of him to generate that much power on his upper body, because he lacks that natural energy transfer from his lower body to his upper body because of his high 2 motion release point. The movement into the shot in these transition possessions here gives him that energy and that power to get the shot above the break to go. Now the Knicks have built a 10-point lead. There's the MSG graphic, 21 points off turnovers on the night. Again, ball denial. It was a little, I think this is, like a motion strong. So you get a stagger away. Heat are going to curl that. And now Adebayo tries to get the back door here because you could see Anunoby's positioning here. Leverage on the high side. So Adebayo's got an opportunity here to get a pass going to the basket. And as Robinson clears through, that puts Deuce as your low man defender. And typically when your 6'1", 6'2" guard is your low man defender, it's going to put you in a tough spot as a defense. But watch Deuce read it and then stand up Adebayo at the rim. Can't ask for more from your point guard right there. This should have been a layup or a dunk for Adebayo because he had the leverage on the low side from Anunoby. But McBride there, meeting him outside the restricted zone, and forces a really tough short mid-range shot. Excellent team defense by the Knicks, specifically McBride to handle that. All right, he get a little transition offense going. Knicks able to get matched up. Towns on Adebayo. Hart now has the Hero matchup, and there's Anunoby lunging from his heavy gap help, forcing the jump ball. Now, a couple things to see here. Heat have on the weak side, it's a two-sided on going in this direction. So you have two players on that side. That's the two sides. So as Hero makes his way in this direction, you're going to get Highsmith to move in this direction, and then you're going to get Mitchell to sort of drift out towards the corner. That's going to basically try to attack the heavy gap help by Anunoby, because if this player clears through and Mitchell heads in that direction, that's going to make any potential closeout by Anunoby much farther. If Mitchell just stays in this area, Anunoby can affect the ball with his gap help and then still get out and close on Mitchell. The Cavaliers are probably the best team in the NBA at this principle of moving in this direction to take away some of the no middle gap help that most teams, especially the Knicks, will deploy, and no player does it as well as OG Anunoby. So the Heat are trying to attack that. And if Anunoby doesn't generate this deflection and cause the jump ball, the Knicks are going to be in a pretty difficult spot here, because as Anunoby goes to lunge, and if you have a Donovan Mitchell or Darius Garland, better ball handlers and better passers, they might be able to hit this pass, to a wide open Max Strus or DeAndre Hunter. And that's where the Cavaliers can really test you. But the Knicks are going to allow Anunoby to make plays like this because he's so good at doing it. Just wanted to point out some potential concerns when you are that heavy in your gap help. But credit to Anunoby for attacking the ball and generating the jump ball out of it. Now off the jump ball, and Heat are going to get this, but now we have because the shot clock is not going to reset. Heat are still going to be behind the 8 ball here, and you can see again we talked about no middle. You can see the positioning by Anunoby. He is not allowing Hero to get to the middle. I thought in this third quarter specifically, the Knicks did a great job of keeping the Heat out of the restricted area, but also out of the middle of the paint in general. And Anunoby clearly has a no middle technique that he's using here. So Hero goes baseline, tries to up fake a couple of times, 3 times. Anunoby doesn't bite. Now the shot clock's under 4, 2, 1, and he's got to try to get the shot off, and Anunoby just blocks it into the first row. Excellent defensive work by OG Anunoby. Now, Knicks are going to run angle pick and roll, get Bridges to the middle. Adebayo in a short, shallow drop here, not going to allow Bridges to get into that mid-range area. Hero able to get back in front. Now the Knicks are going to have to go to their second option. So you get it to the second side. Now we get an empty side DHO with Hart and Deuce, and that is an elite shot right there. So as the Heat switch it, there's a brief moment here where Deuce is going to have an opportunity here in the switch pocket. And it's not a lot of space, but because McBride has such a high release point, that this, being behind the line here, despite a pretty good contest, that's a pretty open shot. It's a shot that, in years past, you've seen, Quentin Grimes, Dante DiVincenzo utilize, shooting to the right off this DHO against the switch. McBride shooting going to his right is actually a really good option here for the Knicks. Anunoby's first four-way into the paint is taken away, so we got to reset it back to Robinson. Now we're going to get Hart against the under. Don't have an issue with Mitchell going under here and then trying to recover out, but Hart able to make this 3-pointer. And now you really got the sense that the Knicks were flying here. And on the next possession by the Heat, Hart in transition off the layup, and here's Bridges sprinting. A full quarter sprint by Mikal Bridges. Right about there. Now he's picked up his speed because he sees a straight line opportunity here as Ware has eyes on Hart. He's got to stop the ball. Then you get your corner fills here by McBride and Anunoby. So this is a perfect fast break in terms of like how you want to organize yourself. Hart gets to the middle of the floor eventually, but the corners filling are key because you get Hero and Highsmith having to take the two corner shooters, and then Ware is got to be the one to impact the ball, and that gives Bridges an opportunity to beat Jaquez to the rim and another great extension finish. Got to fill those corners in transition. All right. Great job by Mitch there to contain. So ball screen, Hero, they're weakening it. So they're forcing it left. Mitch at the level, then retreats. So you take away the 3-point shot. Now you're trying to take away the floater, which Hero is really good at making. Bridges is in pretty, this is really heavy help here. So he, as a low man, is going to take away the lob. So there's really only, the only pass that you can see here is that maybe that pass could be made to the corner, but the Knicks are doing a really, really good job of corralling. So as the pass gets to the corner, that's Hart's closeout. And yeah, you're leaving Jaquez wide open, but if there's one shooter that you want to leave wide open, it's Jaime Jaquez, especially above the break. So even though it's a pretty open shot, late closeout by Deuce, and then a really great two-handed defensive rebound by Mitchell Robinson. Let's see that one again. Gets the box out, and then high points it with two hands. And that's excellent work by Mitchell Robinson to corral that basketball. Then on offense, almost able to make this initial lob to Mitch. Ware does a good job of taking it away, but Hart takes it right back from him with his ability to just continue to pursue the basketball. And then eventually hits Mitch on the lob. Thought Mitch's run here in the third quarter was really impressive. So as the Knicks ice this ball screen to the baseline, not much room for Mitchell to go to. Mitch does a really good job of taking away the paint. And then as Ware pops this is the second effort that we didn't see in the Golden State game by Mitchell Robinson, but we see it here. Left-hand contest against the right-hand shooter. That's classic Mitch right there. Helping to force the miss. Josh Hart with another defensive rebound. Push it in transition. Now the Knicks are playing in their flow. Bridges attacks, gets the foul call. Back on the defensive side, again, Mitchell Robinson, the key in the position here, you're forcing baseline, you're keeping things outside the middle of the paint. You're also, if you're Mitch, you're taking away any lob attempt or drop-off pass to Khalil Ware. He'd have to basically rotate it back out. Mitchell momentarily open. Deuce closes on that. So now we're taking away that shot. Bridges takes away another 3-point shot. And then McBride again takes away another 3-point shot. And Hart gets the final contest on the floater. So let's bring that all the way back just to see the amount of effort and multiple efforts the Knicks were showing on this possession here. Keep it all baseline. Keep it out of the middle. That's one 3-point shot you're taking away. Driving kick, another 3-point shot you're taking away. Then the final 3-point shot you're taking away for a floater. So the Knicks doing a really good job of eliminating some of those 3-point looks. And then Josh Hart, feeling himself at this point off the switch, just pulls it for 3. Skipping. Knicks up now 23. Dominant third quarter for this team. And then on the final possession here, Knicks are going to want to get Khalil Ware into the action. Hart motions for Mitch to go screen. Heat are going to pre-switch this. So Mitchell is going to be the one defending Robinson. So they're going to keep Ware back, have Mitchell in the ball screen coverage, forcing Deuce Wright, get 2 on the ball initially, but now you get Hart open here because Hero really is in, it's kind of a no man's land defensive position. I'm not sure what his intention there, as he's just standing upright, open stance, allowing Hart to stampede this basketball, gets in the middle of the paint, and then a quick look back to Shamet and a rifle pass for an open 3. So the Heat keep Ware out of the action here. So they're going to pre-switch it. So as that happens, now Hero basically has the Hart matchup, runs through the pass, quick hit to Shamet for the open corner 3. Landry Shamet, his 3-point shooting continues to impress here of late. All right. So, really everything you could have asked for in that third quarter came to fruition. 41-15. Can't ask for more. The transition game was humming. Defensive communication was excellent. The aggression, getting into the basketball on that end, the physicality, the defensive rebounding. So you do all the work, then you're able to secure it with Mitchell Robinson doing wonderful work there. And of course, Josh Hart's defensive rebounding leading to good offense on the other end of the floor was key. You saw Mikal Bridges getting into the paint, using his ball handling ability to manipulate gap defenders. Deuce McBride's shooting, really a fantastic third quarter for the Knicks. And I thought there's things that are occurring now with this team, especially on the defensive end, that even when Brunson returns, clearly you're not going to have as much defensive talent on the floor, but you can see it with Mitchell Robinson slowly working back into form. And then I didn't even get into the double big lineup that we saw a lot in the fourth quarter that showed some promise, especially with OG Anunoby playing back there. So a Mitchell Robinson, Karl-Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby front court, quite imposing. So the Knicks are building the outlines here of maybe getting into the point where you can consider this team a borderline, top 10 defense. And if this offense can maybe not get to their heights in, from October, November, but, be a top 5 offense. Now you're seeing the makings of a team that can really do some damage. But it really fantastic third quarter. I thought it was worth breaking down. If you're watching this and not already subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our new Brunson tier on the Patreon page, where we do film sessions exclusively for Brunson tier members, and of course Benji's daily or game by game grade books, enhanced grade books are part of the package as well. You can find the link below. And wherever you are, wherever you're doing, hope you're having a great day, and we will talk to you soon.